Dandavat Pranam, Avadhut Maharaj.
Who do we have here? Oh, Nadia. Hare Krishnas. Hare Krishnas. Yuvati, amazing. Tulasi, working on a book. I'm working for new illustrations. Ananta Shesh Prabhu Ki Jai, walking on the street of Spain, and all others. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Maharaj.
Продолжи иллюстрации рисовать. Просто пиши, да, еще. Из другой истории, наверное, много иллюстраций. Okay, so let's begin. Om Gyana Timirandis Siya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Esha Sachandana Pushpam Ain Shri Gurave Namaha. So we're offering our heart and our soul to our gurus, because by the will of divine power, Krishna manifests in this very merciful way. And I was very lucky. I've been working on some rewriting of a famous Chinese novel, Journey to the East, for the Chinese and devotees. And I include in this very classical Buddhist text the new philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, because it's about Buddhism, it's about Daisism, but using GPT chat allow me to do the books much easier. It does not mean GPT chat does all the work. It's just like having an assistant who always tell you yes. So Govinda Maharaj said, I always would tell my Guru Maharaj yes. And Om mantra means big yes. So you have to say yes to your opportunity, yes to spiritual growth, yes to the universe. And that's allowed to overcome your ego, because your ego is your biggest enemy. So in my book, which I'm rewriting, the principle is very amazing. The main character, his Tripitaka, is a monk, but I'm giving him the Hermann Hesse story of the Lord Buddha's birth. So his birth as a king, but then he joined as a monk. So, and he's having deep journey to the river of light, which is nirvana, and then he's able to cross the beyond. And in his journey, he's got some helpers who are not perfect. And those helpers are always interacting with him, and then interacting between themselves. The pig, the monkey king, which is later turned as a Hanuman. But the greatness of this, that at certain point, they behaving like his disciples. Really, they are the highest gurus from the above. But they kind of take form of whimsical, cool characters, where he has to straighten them up many times to remind them why we hear what we hear. Although you can say from perspective of Christian consciousness, they're fully liberated souls. But for the sake of the story and for the sake of his perfections, they acting like dependents on him. So dependent on him. And later he realized they're just amazing beings. So when he get initiation from his guru, the gurus explained to him, you will meet different type of personalities on your journey. And some of them would appear to you as a friends, but be careful. They're not really your friends. But some of them will appear as kind of people with no purpose, or, superficial people. But nevertheless, you will learn the lessons from them. So life is a journey towards a river of time. And there's a river. Above the river is the shining spiritual world. And we're just like those characters in the book. So, they're going to different inner demons, like the doubts and lust and greed and non-belief and different things that they have to conquer or control. And to learn the lesson, it's not just like make constant mistakes. So this is the interesting thing. The characters are moving and evolving, and they're progressing, but they're progressing as circumstantially they're entering different conditions. Like, for instance, they entering the consuming town. And in this consuming town, everybody's appeared to be very happy and promoting happiness, but really nothing has their taste. And at nighttime, everybody's crying. When they wake up in the morning, they just consume, and they creating things that are low quality just to throw them in the garbage, and they buy new ones. And this is like the so-called the model of modern consumer society, which wasting time and energy for two things. Number one, to consume, and another thing um, to cheat yourself just by being a consumer. You become a happy person. Of course, there are particular pleasure by being a consumer, like they say, like dopamine, like watching beautiful clothes or with a beautiful car, beautiful women, beautiful things. You create people excited. Oh, dopamine. I'm happy. Instagram. You cannot stop scrolling, and then Instagram start pushing you things that you look at, and then you end up of being fully over observed by things you don't need. But in the very beginning, you just look at something and say, "Hey, that's cool." But then the algorithm start pushing you things, and finally, that algorithm pushing you things that are not just in front of you; they're just push out other important things from your consciousness. So, what is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is something that are base of your existence, your substantial anchor, and to see things through Krishna consciousness called Buddhi Yoga. That means the mind of Buddhi, the Buddha. What is the mind of Buddha? To see things which are not the way they appear, to see the nature of things, including the nature of yourself. So that's what Krishna consciousness is. But this is not end of Krishna consciousness, because in Buddhism, they tell you, especially in Narayan, you told me about some modern Buddhism, very popular. Oh, you want money? You donate for certain things. You want this, you donate. It's like kind of a dharma. It's like hardcore materialistic approach to play the algorithms of karma game. And algorithm karma game is very difficult to understand according to scriptures. So unless you have your center of attention, have your ultimate goal, and you move to your ultimate goal. So on the journey to the east, many times the characters provoke the monk and they say, "Hey, it seems like this is the wonderful place where we can enjoy it. We should stay here." But you say, "No, there's something evil around this place. You should just keep moving forward." And as they examine this place or location deeper and deeper, they're realizing that this place has more and more trouble. Like one time they come into the healthy city, healthy village, and everybody looks so sick, and everybody covered their faces and themselves. And the pig and monk then are like, "Look, what is your concern?" They said, "Oh, we're concerned about health." Why? Oh, because there's some mystic demons that control these people. They're talking to them about health, and they're giving them some worse medicine, which really kills them. But they're like zombie. They believe in that thing. They believe in that propaganda. Then the monk and his friends, they run away from there. They say, "There's no one we can save there." Why? Because these people zombie-like, under the demons and the evils, they believe in these things. So like you have to understand, belief is not something, or faith is not something superficial. It's something that you are believing yourself, and you're letting those beliefs to be guide of your life. So in this regard, we can say, what is our beliefs? How beliefs are important, because we live by our beliefs, and believers can bring us to trouble. In fact, beliefs can liberate us from very, very difficult condition of life. just being believer. So many people say, oh, believe in yourself, but what is the self? Many people say, believe in the God, but who is the God? Believe in your destiny and karma, believe in the red car. So many beliefs can lead us to a numerous chain of reactions provided by our false beliefs or our superficial beliefs. And the picture that we draw by our mind through our unshaped consciousness. That's why, when people say freedom, 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 sometimes people say, well, why you need freedom? You're going to misuse it. And Gandhi said, well, we do need freedom, even if we misuse it. But it does not really mean that freedom is the only gift of God for us to misuse. In fact, somebody who has wisdom and fortune would think, how do I do my freedom in my best possible way? How I do, become a servant of God, rather just be free from him. It really doesn't bother us. God never tells you, oh, you're doing something wrong, unless you really meditate and hear his voice from inner the heart. But even being in the heart of every living entity, most even living entity cannot hear his sweet, nourishing voice. Therefore, he appeared in form of guru in front of us. But even that does not allow us to hear the truth from the guru. And sometimes truth is very painful. Yes, that's right. It's very painful. So most people don't want to hear the truth. They want the, you know, um, reflection. Like, in the store in America, they would put special mirror in the shop when women put the dress. That mirror has little diffusion, illusion to make her look slimmer. And that's what people want. They want to look slimmer, look smarter, look deeper, but really in reality, they're not. So that is the the pain problem of the material world, is not to be, to perceive to be. Remember, illusion is not something is not real, it's perceived wrong, the wrong perception. That's the problem of our vision. And the way we change our vision is by three things: pranipat, pariprashna, and seva. Inquiry from the spiritual source, seva, the service of the spiritual world, and proper way to inquire, not to challenge, not to argue, is to inquire with proper mood. So if any of you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to enter a deeper discussion. Just open the session today. It's not a long session, it's 1 hour session, because we have some other programs during the day today, but I highly appreciate you all coming to this small little program in English. And you may not speak English, but like I've said many times, try to learn English. And hopefully, by the grace of devotees, including Tulsi, many of my talks and lectures will be translated in English, because I think some of them are good for English-speaking world. And hopefully, by Narayana's grace, I will speak more in English, because there's a lot of people that I meet here, foreign Chinese people, they need English-speaking content. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, we have already question from Marie. She's asking, how should we continue attempts at sadhana when depression derails ability to focus on much of anything?
Actually, depression must be our best friend. There's a funny expression, say, my depression is more colorful than your euphoria. See, we would think everything we do has to give us a pleasure, sensation. But actually, the depression and unhappiness is a deeper sense of feel inner necessity for change. So if somebody's in depression, he should be asking himself, why I'm not happy, why I'm depressed, why things that I want so matter to me. So I would say, if you're in depression, you're lucky one. then the motivation, obviously there's different types of depression. So when you're in the mood of ignorance, then you don't want to do anything. You don't want to move. Yeah, might be, let that be sometime your situation. Realize I can't do anything. But remember, it's not about what you can do. If you really go to professionals that treat like Yuvatia, treat addictions. And there are many types of addictions, not just drugs and alcohol, sex addiction, money addiction, food addiction. The number one gateway to addiction treatment to accept the principle that you cannot cure yourself and pray to something higher. So in this addiction system, like the big God or cosmos, whatever you believe in, you can pray to ancestor, or can you pray to the God, or pray to Krishna if you believe in Krishna. So they're not challenging your belief, but what they say, the gateway to being free from addiction is to accept higher power that can help you. So once you're accepting it, then you're looking for association of those people who also looking for a way out and do this collectively. And on the highest level, you're supposed to help others to overcome it. So first you pray to the God, universe, and say, hey, I'm in trouble. Then you go find people that also in trouble, and they will share with you how they manage their trouble. And when you go to their meeting, they'll tell you the worst things. Like if you tell me, hey, I just lost a job, somebody tell, hey, you know what? I've lost my health, I've lost my wife, I've lost my children, I've lost everything. Then you start understanding, oh, I'm not that bad yet. So there's a whole negative perception that works for you as a guru. And the people that lost things are also become your guru because they will reveal you, things can go much worse in your life. And then they start praise collectively, they share. And then finally, when you get out of, learn how to manage your addiction, you keep doing the spiritual things, you keep doing the meetings, but you help others. You become a sponsor of others. If others feel something, they call you. That's called 12 Steps program. I think it's an amazing program for any kind of spiritual development that should be really realized towards any spiritual growth, including Krishna consciousness. Because this people helps millions of people. It works very well. And this system can be applied for any kind of addiction. And we're dealing with the biggest addictions called materialism. That's why your depression, it's one of the, it's even better than euphoria. Like when you're consuming, when you're happy, you start to take drugs, you start to enjoy things. You think, that's what's real. Then your thing is going to be worse. So welcome to the depression world. And I think it's not that bad. But you have to change your mood of ignorance to mood of passion by being able to hearing. And the mood of passion is not bad. It's mood of action, which come to you as a blessing from Krishna and Guru. Make sense? Or some other questions?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you. Thank you, Marie, for this important question. And yeah, we have two more questions. First, from Dina Bandhudas. He is asking, Maharaj, what does spiritual happiness mean?
Well, that's obviously Satchitananda, the stage of soul, by definition, is Ananda. So happiness is not something that you should fight for the way we do in the material world. The happiness is something that you should be experiencing at every moment of your existence. But in the spiritual reality, there's rasa exchange, the loving relationship to serve and to love and to accept. That's your loving relationship. It should not be based on your self-ego principle. It's principle of devotion and sacrifice, not on your self principle. You have to learn how to sacrifice. Then you can understand if you don't learn how to sacrifice, there's nothing I can do for you.
Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Dina Bandhudas. And a second question from Ananta Shesh. Dandavats Maharaj, why it's so hard to be humble.
That's what I'm asking myself all the time. Why I'm not humble? Because every time it pumps up from core of my heart that I'm not humble. But life is making me humble because we don't learn how to estimate others based on spiritual values. We think if this guy is more stupid than me, I'm so great. We always measure ourselves about something low, not about something high, because we have to change our perception towards spiritual divinity, not from, and also remember, we're great, but we also want to take this grace and put in our account instead of thinking, it came by Krishna, it came by Guru. We're thinking, oh, I'm so great. I deserve this. I need a red car. I need this. I need that. I need this. I need that. I want to have that. And why the universe does not provide for what I want? But there's no end of desires. In fact, every desire you have, it has some bondage. It has some pain. So you have to understand this is the world of material. Like it's the gaming engine. We live is there's nothing here. It's for free or for nothing. Everything has its own purpose. So it's very difficult to understand because we have very superficial, blind ego things. So Gardenia, the ego, has many expressions as a sexual desire, as a desire for earning things, as a desire for fame. It's not just one thing because people say, well, what's the lust? They think about sex. Lust is not just about sex. It's like multifunctional stone with many, many, like a diamond, has many, many angles and you can turn this way. So I many times said interesting story about there were a Christian sect about 120 years ago. And their idea was like, okay, they've read in a Bible, but if their eye disturbing you, take off the eye. So they basically cut their own genitals, and they cut their own genitals, and they start making fun of other people who have like family life, etc. But interestingly, they become traders, and then they become money lenders, traders and money lenders. So the lust did not come as a sexual energy; it comes as this energy of being wealthy. So all these people, although they consider themselves as a saints because they stopped their sexual tendency, they just become slaves of money. It's so funny. I like it. Do you understand? It's very, very interesting, the history. And they were the money lenders, and that was like, they also become greedy. And they make fun of everybody. Like, hey, look, I cut my genital, now I'm free from lust. But you know what? When are you going to pay me back? So they lend money to family people. Quite amazing stupidity. So, so you can imagine how one can stupid to think that I'm going to deal with my external problems without fixing my Krishna consciousness, my inner self. Anyway, everything I tell you is might be a little extreme, but I'm happy to share with you some extreme ideas. You understand something? We talk about something very serious. It's not of a joke.
Thank you, Maharaj and Tashesh, for the question. And next question from Narayani. She's asking how to distinguish where changes, situations, and opportunities come from the Lord and where from Maya. Uh, because, like, which karmas, on the contrary, do not need to be followed. Because after all, it can be all wrapped and look alike.
Okay, that's a good question. So, how do you define? So, definition is the quality of experience. Let's say, how do you understand good music? How do you understand good art? how you understand anything good. That means you'll be able to define quality at one point, and at the same time, you should also define what is good for you. That's why they said sometimes with good coming to you, it bring you bad. Sometimes with bad coming to you, bring you good. So remember, Maya is also a servant of Krishna. Maya has a very special position. She has to test you in order for you to understand your lessons. Just like a teacher in school. She's not your enemy, really. But the challenge of life is for you to transform, transgress, and understand. So you want me to give you like the answer. There's like a Jewish book, don't do this, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, do this. So you need instructions. So when you want to do something, you go to the scripture and say, and read in the scripture, hey, I just want to have this. Okay, don't do it. Or like, hey, I want to do this. Oh, no, today's Saturday. Stay home, pray. So that's one of the way for one group of people, and we're not saying it's bad, but what is being intuitively clear about what is dharma and what is dharma for you? Like when you start exercise, you most likely hire the teacher to teach you how to exercise like this or like this. But if you consistently do exercise, you figure out your own program, what works for you based on your time, your physical abilities and things. That means you practice under teacher, but that means also you are getting experience. And then you can share that experience with others based on your experience, and they'll figure out what's good for them. Okay, so you understand that in the beginning, you might need the book, the blue book, the footprint, the blueprint. It's called scriptures. But once you learn the scriptures and have the experience, then you learn how to apply this for yourself and for others. And also remember, nothing comes through your own brain. The universe is smarter than you. It's like artificial intellect is always smarter than you. But you know what? If you learn how to work with that, to work out. So don't look as Judaica Christian idea. You're gonna get a big book. You're gonna read about what to do, not to do, like the driving rules. You know, everybody who learned to drive, they study the rules. But eventually, everybody's who are a great driver, they have intuitive driving and their experience. And that does not mean they break the rules. It means they know how to apply them. And remember, the smart people who are good drivers, they always extra caution because they know it's not about their driving thing. Like in California, I was driving recently with my friend, and I said to him, don't follow this truck with the garbage because things will fall off. So we stay in another line, and immediately some kind of a thing fell off, and the previous car who drove behind us almost got into trouble. Otherwise, we would get into trouble. So that's how things work. Anyway, any other questions or comments? We have about 20 more minutes, so we have to be very productive at this session. Please don't hesitate to ask questions, be active, be dynamic. That gets you more benefit for your time. And I appreciate Yuviti and Tadia with their
Raised hand from Kirill. Let's try.
Dandava Maharaj.
Yes.
Ну, если можно, по-русски
Can I
задам вопрос.
please ask
Там
in
девчонки
Russian?
переведут.
Please, of course.
Да.
Chinese, Ukrainian, any language you want. We have qualified translators.
Правильно ли я
Am I
понимаю,
right in thinking
что задействовать
that
себя во
to
служении каждый
engage
день обычному
myself
человеку,
in
который там живет
service
в храме или рядом с храмом, или как-то
for
сильно
someone who
переключаться
doesn't
с
live in a
миссией,
temple, who is
достаточно
away from mission,
слушать
would be
духовные
enough
лекции или писания,
to listen to scriptures and
какой-то петь
teachers
киртан
and
какой-никакой, либо
then
самому, либо
chant
встречаться вот так вот на
kirtan,
выходных где-то в кафе.
on my own or meet other devotees for kirtan, say on the weekend, and that would be considered enough to engage my mind and my body in service.
So word goniva means delusion. Okay, the question is very good. Does just listening every day, some spiritual stuff, and doing formal spiritual practice is enough for spiritual progress? Okay. Supposedly you are trying to advance in your sport. So my question is, does walking 5 minutes is enough? No. Walking 10 minutes is enough? Well, yes, maybe it gives me a little bit movement, a little bit. But if you really care about your physical shape, then you are making a very advanced program. Your advanced program is your exercise, maybe twice a day with a different way, your food, your diet, your time schedule, you're avoiding things that's wrong for you. And that's how quickly you're perfecting. So if you say, well, if I just daily say Hare Krishna, eat little prasad, and chant, is it okay for me? And my question is like, what you do rest of the day? I just do nothing. Watch videos, watch YouTube, spend bullshit time, talk to people. But I just do 5 minutes a day. That might be good for you, but that's not going to make you spiritual. It maybe not let you degrade as fast as you think. But remember, in this world, the aircraft never flying like this. It's flying like this, down, or flying up. So if you want to have stable fly, you have to still do a little bit more all the time. This is the principle of flying. Otherwise, you will degrade until you hit the ground, and then you have to rebuild yourself again and try to get takeoff. It's not easy. So Krishna tells in Gita, Yad Jahasiyat Atnasiyat Dadasi Tapasiyat, whatever you do, you offer everything to me. So you have a child, you have a devoted wife. It's very difficult to run the family because family means enjoyment. And normally you want to do it for the kids, for the wife, for the family. So, and that's kind of one of the delusion moment, but at the same time, it buys you certain credits because you have some social, material, physical obligations. But if you turn this social, physical obligations into the service, like for instance, yes, you said yes, get together for kirtan. Wonderful, wonderful. The women can talk to children, the men can chant together, eat prasadam. That's very good. And if you can do it religiously, that's good because it keeps your thing. Let's say you have a nice house, big kitchen, big space. And I was in Bali. You're also in Bali. There's a guy, Yura. He had a big house and he offered his house for spiritual programs. Now he's in Vrindavan. He's actually divorced his wife and his child, but he's in Vrindavan. And I understood because his wife, like, she's in a different league. And I know in the future he'll be able to do something great because he's a great guy. But at this point, Krishna gave him an opportunity to transform, transcend in a deeper way. And I wrote a letter to his wife and I said, please give some time. Things are going to go better in the future. She was very disturbed, but it's very difficult for her. But at the same time, she doesn't want to change. And I think the reason they had to separate because she likes God, she likes Krishna, but she doesn't want to become a devotee. So, and that for him, necessity was bigger. So there's possibility that in some time you'll discover that you need deeper spiritual thing. I know some other people that wife and child and children, the wife is more spiritual than husband. And she has more enthusiasm to like, she can feed 10 children. She can also feed devotees. So there are different type of people, different type of families, different type of circumstance. But whatever circumstance you are, you should try to go towards your spiritual goals. Sometimes your children are atheistic. Sometimes your wife hates everything you do about Krishna. Also possibility. Don't think it's bad. Think this is the situation I'm in right now. It's favorable for me. So learn what's favorable. Not try to create yourself a perfect environment for yourself. It's never going to be perfect environment. Eventually you have to die. Okay, so we have 3 questions that coming up. Thank you. I hope I come to Bali for the Vaishnava festival.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj, for your answer. Next question from Tulasi Didi. How can we calm down our desires and ambitions so they could not burn our unsatisfaction and that they could serve positively to attain our goals?
Well, in the base of every spiritual life is surrender to Krishna. If you don't surrender to Krishna, nothing will work for you. It's not Buddhism or yoga where everything up to you. Even in Buddhism and yoga, to surrender to teacher is necessary. So in Krishna consciousness, it's a very clear idea. Then you have to surrender to Krishna. So surrender to Krishna means not some abstract surrender. It means to follow Guru Vaishnavas, accept things that favorable, reject the things unfavorable. So if you cannot reject things, like if you go to doctor give you what? He got you medicine and diet. So in Krishna consciousness, you get the medicine, you get the diet. So do you understand? So it's medicine and diet. The medicine is holy name of Krishna. The diet, you have to follow, general things that need to be avoided, but you still have to accept things that are meant for your specific diet, because everybody has some specific problems. Let's hear other questions.
Yes, the next question from Yashoda Nandan Das from Ukraine. Dandavat Srila Gurudev. How to realize that madhurya-rasa differs of material romantic relationships? What is the first obstacle I must overcome to realize that?
Sexuality can be spiritual. And remember, the spiritual sexuality comes from true position of soul, which called madhurya-rasa. That means before you have spiritual body and real relationship in the spiritual world, you can't really define true sexuality. It's like children. They cannot understand this feeling because it's not within them. But more than children, right now, we're living in the negative side of things. We believe in the shadow-like sexuality because it's the definition of our mind and senses as being something real. So it's not that we should deny our nature of sexuality. Rather, we should understand that nature is illusory nature. So if we understand that, then we can understand, okay, let me try to move towards something real. So as more real things will come in your mind, is less of an attachment to material pleasures we'll have. But, the material pleasures, the sexuality is very difficult to overcome. It stays with everybody. It can be overcome only by devotion. That's why if you feel sexual feelings and tendency and lust, you should know it's definition that you don't have enough devotion. But, by just rejection of one thing, it is not going to mean that you're going to get another thing. So you have to increase your spiritual practice and spiritual experience, which is not easy to increase because, just like in previous question, if I just say Hare Krishna, will I become free from all material things? You're not. There's billions of people in India tell Hare Krishna. There's hundreds of Hare Krishna devotees try to overcome their sexuality and they can't. So it has to be the special blessing, that special consciousness, which is deep sense of surrender to Krishna. which is not easy. It may be millions of lives. See, we're dealing with something which is not, it's not like how to lose weight. It's like how to get love of God. It's something very, very difficult. So therefore, most people give up because they don't understand the value of get love of God. You need to understand value. So let's go move to the next question.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you. And sorry, devotees, that I missed two previous questions from Ananda Rupa and Anuttama Didi. And Kirill, I see your hand, but I'm trying to give chance to ask those who type messages. From Ananda Rupa, a question is how to awake a need, a desire for spiritual life.
Well, any desire has its nature. Desire starts formulating outside and then enters our mind through hearing and eyes. So if you can hear about Krishna and you can participate in spiritual practice, then you'll have spiritual desires. Otherwise, you'll have material desires. If you watch material advertising, material things, if you test material things, the material desires will increase, obviously. So, it's your natural ability to claim up by being connected with something that's higher. If you go to school for the education, it may not be pleasurable, but it's very useful. So it's not like you always have to do what you want. It's to realizing your duty and follow what you need to do. And you believe in the medicine and the discipline has to be there. Just can't be like, hey, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to, then nothing you will achieve in this world. People give up so many things just to make money. People suffer so much in family life just to please their children. People die in war for their country. So why do you think it's going to be easy or easier? But my point is, it seems like a lot of people looking for easy way out of spiritual life. It doesn't work this way. Spiritual life is the hardest way, but it's in the mood of goodness. That's why it appeared to be easy, but it's perception changing. It's not as easy as you think. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Ananda Rupa. And from Anuttama Didi, question, Dandavat Maharaj and all the devotees, can I humbly ask, what is the greatest example of sacrifice for you? Thank you in advance.
Well, the greatest sacrifice is not stopping. One time I went with Govinda Maharaj and they told me, do you know something about Vasudev Ghosh? Because I asked him, who's Vasudev Ghosh? It's not somebody important from Gaur Lila that I've heard. He said, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vasudev Ghosh told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, take me to eternal hell and keep me eternal hell and let all the people, free all the people from material existence. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because of such a devotee like you, I'm willing you to liberate all the universe. So in other Vaishnava traditions, not every soul gets liberated. But because of Vasudev Ghosh, such a great self-sacrifice devotee of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu promised, just by your grace, I will liberate all the universe because I'm willing to break the law by the grace of devotee. Remember in Mahabharata, Krishna numerous times broke the law to showing that he's willing to break the law in his own promise to save Arjuna. So he needs that great devotee mercy because devotee is more merciful than Supreme Lord to be able to liberate every one of us. I don't know if somebody translates this very clear, but that's the deepest exceptions of mercy, which within the most important part. Take care.
Thank you, Anuttama Didi, for question. And now very long question from Bimala Sundari Didi. Dandavats Maharaj, please tell us, should we want to improve something in the temple for the common good, for the sake of the mission, or should we work only on ourselves? I don't want to look for shortcomings in devotees. I have enough of my own, but I'm not indifferent to what is happening in the family. And sometimes I see what could be improved in the structure, in interaction with newcomers, but they tell me like, don't interfere, take care of yourself. And I also see that many who comes want to bring something for the sake of the mission, but because those who are more in the mission can rudely put them down and not help them, and they eventually freeze and go into secluded practice and do their own thing. And only a
Okay,
few, yeah,
I got it.
thanks.
This is not something new. This is quietly happen because people are stagnant by the nature. And my suggestion to people with this mind, if you feel that you want to change something, you should speak with devotees. Not to fight with devotees, speak with devotees and share with them. And if they're not willing to improve and change, you go and preach to others. It's very simple. Like I was kicked out of ISKCON because I took initiation from Govinda Maharaj. I said, okay, I go and preach the way my guru wants. So I've started my own mission. Is it perfect? Not. Do I do everything perfect? Not. So if anybody can do better than this, welcome. So my experience that people that criticize me, and people criticize me all the time, they didn't create anything better. They're trying right now. They're trying to do something in Italy. They try to do something here in Thailand. It's okay, no problem. But my point is, like, we've done this for 30 years. It's wonderful what you're doing, but it's not something new. It's good that you're maintaining the program, but show me something new you can do. You know what I mean? Like, because new means increase our family, get close to the people. There's always ways. So don't waste your time on try to change others, try to change yourself. And if Krishna will see your sincerity, he will give you an opportunity. But if you want to improve something in your own temple, if you see something going wrong, just try to speak first individually with devotees without highly criticize them. And you see what's the reaction. And if they're ready, get the meeting and talk about changes. But it does not mean if you can come and blame everybody, things going to change. So if you really look at the books of management, they will teach you first talk one by one to people, make their friend. And the second question is like, why everybody else have to respect you? If you just have critical mouths, you're not doing something that accept respect from people, they will not take you serious. So first try to earn respect. And I give you a recommendation. Every temple, when you come, do the most dirty work, clean dishes, and do it consistently. And after some time, everybody loves you. And then they will hear your voice. So it's called leader without title. A lot of people just want the title of general, but they don't know how to fight. So it's difficult. I give you some general things. I think we overcome our time already. We have like a couple of minutes more. And if you allow me to conclude today's conversation, I want to thank you all for being on this chat organized by Narayani. I will try to give more attention to English-speaking audience. I'm preparing new books, new materials for English-speaking world, including India and others. I always need some help and volunteers because right now we have only a few people working on that. And volunteering means not just do little things, it's like to do something consistently. Help with this, help with that. I believe if we create digital network and digital channels of information, and if we non-sectarian way appear to people with the simple things, we can increase our spiritual family a lot. That will inquire a lot of us to work and help others. The why we need volume. The volume is not the ideal. The volume means make us busy and make us busy in raising other people and helping other people. And from that service, the quality will come in time. That's why I believe we have to do two things: wide preaching and self-mastering. If we just do self-mastering without wide preaching, it's not a big good. So wide preaching, antaranga and bahiranga, external and internal, both. For that, we need to think new ways how to create, projects. Like we did Vedalife Festival in Ukraine, 20,000 people. Like, we're doing online preaching, etc. And we've done this many years. So it was not just ashram 5 people who hardcore practicing. That's not what Krishna consciousness is only. Remember, Mahaprabhu starts Sankirtan movement. He went to the people, went to the public. They were not perfect. In fact, he met with Buddhists, Mayavadis, everybody, but he brought his deep ideas. So practicing ourselves is super important, but learn how to connect with people based on heart, compassion, love, and affection. This is the quality of Govinda Maharaj. So many people I'm explaining, especially our Chinese people, because in Thailand, they did no idea which mission they joined. They only saw Goswami Maharaj. They think, oh, we're joining Goswami Maharaj's mission. And I explained to them, this is not Goswami Maharaj's mission, not Avadhut Maharaj's mission, not Madhusudan Maharaj's mission. This is the mission of Govinda Maharaj. And we all followers of Govinda Maharaj. Why? Because he's great heart and love. Sridhar Maharaj was a great philosopher, but Govinda Maharaj built Chaitanya Saraswat Math. He provided all the people, and he connected us all. Why? Not just because of knowledge, just because of heart and exception. So Govinda Maharaj gave everybody place in the family. Whether they're so great or they beginners, Govinda Maharaj gave everybody's heart, everybody's place. So we should also think, yes, we have very few high-level souls like Goswami Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj, Bhakti Lalita. Yeah, they're hardcore practitioners, they're very deep. But we also have very new people that are learning. So by taking care of the child and the family, we're growing and accepting our family and raising our family. And not everybody had fortune to live in India for 20, 30 years. Not everybody had the fortune to study all the books. But this does not mean that these people are not sincere and we should not try to help them. So be wide and be deep. 2 things, like ocean, wide ocean and deep ocean. Understand, not just like little pond, not like a little well, wide, deep ocean of Krishna consciousness. So I want to thank you all for being today. I believe that we increase our ocean of Krishna consciousness today. We went a little bit deeper to understand what our true practice is. And we'll be continue sharing with each other on the mood of acceptance and surrenders. And of course, we have really nice leaders in our mission, the preachers, Maharajas, and female leaders, not only male leaders, a lot of female ladies. They've done great work for us, like Bhakti Lalita, like Narayani, like other devotees. So we are accepting and respecting everyone. And, we don't deny the fact that, women can be a great administrator or leader or servitor. So we actually, in fact, say that Govinda Maharaj had deep appreciation of female group. And he always joke about gopis in Vrindavan. He always say, hey, you know what? Vrindavan's run by a bunch of women. So that's not a big deal. So we're not trying to limit ourselves. Everybody should be preacher. And that's why we have a special club called Svetly Chok or Lightbach. Why do we do it? Like I've said in my previous lecture, because we have to learn how to listen people. A lot of us, especially sannyasis, we've learned how to talk. And talking is great because by talking to people, we can give them the ideas. But the problem is, if we also learn how to listen people, then we'll be way more effective. So in our Math, Govinda Maharaj, he had amazing skills of talking, but more amazing skills he has of listening people, listening their needs, and connecting with them. So if you understand, psychiatrist, psychologist is somebody who helping people by listening them. So think of this, just listening some people create confidence and believe in this world. So let us continue our preaching and practice. And one of our practice will be by respectably listen each other and support each other and love each other And that would be our main important thing. If we see that people something wrong, just by attacking them, we're not going to get success. But if we see that people doing something wrong, let us listen to them and understand why they're doing this. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't see it. So there's many, many things which we should consider before we do something and go to heavy criticism. Remember, people criticizing everybody. Like, I'm sure somebody will watch my video and will say, why Avadhut Maharaj wearing black dress? Why Avadhut Maharaj has a beard? He's a sannyasi. Yes, that's true. But I just want to say from the point of sannyasi dress, sannyasi allowed to dress black in India. Black is one of the official dress of sannyasi, but it's not Vaishnava sannyasi. So what Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri were dressing as a Buddhist monk. So why? Why did he dress as a Buddhist monk? I'll tell you why. Here I'm dressed as a Buddhist monk in Thailand right now in my black dress because they respect a particular way of, people. So there's always exception because we preach in Asia, we move in Asia, So we have a particular way to appear to public. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made his sannyasis black dress as a priest when he wanted them to preach to foreign people, because they understood the foreign people, the British people, they more seriously take priest dress than saffron dress. So there's many different things we can understand. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to thank you all for being today on the Zoom program. I want you to continue our Russian programs and English-speaking programs. I want you to help to participate in whatever the possible way, online, offline, in the temples, as you already helping. And I'm sure together we'll achieve tremendous, amazing results, because I believe you're serious people and I believe you're here sincerely. I believe your questions are sincere, and I believe whatever we do will be resultful in time. Remember, time, Govinda Maharaj used to say, wait and see it. So my Dandavat Pranam to all of you, love you all. Yuvati, if you can make me time for the Jiv Jaga meeting, because next week we might have some Chinese program, big Chinese program with Kirtan. We need to talk about that to bring the Jiv Jaga on the board. And Nadia, I hope you're doing well. Let me know how you're doing in Portugal, because I gave blessing to Narayani and devotees to do something in Portugal, and Yudhishthira is living in Portugal. So hopefully, Portugal is a great country. Unfortunately, it's a little overpriced right now because it's a great European country with a great history and place. And it's an amazing place for us to have a spiritual center in the future, because we already have one in Italy. So Portugal would be amazing. And Portuguese people are very, very helpful, very open. I think it's a great field to preach. My Dandavat Pranam, love you all. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and thank you for being with us.
Jai Srila Bhakti-Bimala Avadhut Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you all devotees for your questions. Sorry, Yashodanandan Das and Damayanti from Agoy, that I had no time to ask your questions. And thank you for your activity. It's always very appreciated. Dandavats Pranam.